Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lightbringers podcast, second of the year, and it's the 1st of March. Oh, damn.
Oh my god,
We've only had 2 shows this year. Oh, God.
Okay.
And the cameras aren't showing up. Silly thing. There we go. Okay. We're here. We're present. We're existing in the world.
Hi everyone. Can they hear us?
They can. I'm just turning up things because apparently
Couldn't.
all my settings have just gone tits up. Which is weird.
Oh.
That's what happens. That's what happens.
It is what
Technical
happens.
difficulties humble us like no other. I mean, before
need to
stream,
go
I guess
back.
my microphone changed to my webcams, and I was none the wiser. I had to be informed by the lovely friends here. I was not using my mic, actually.
This is weird.
Wow.
Okay. Just had to adjust all the audio for everyone. Again.
Do not adjust your television sets. This is... What is that old thing that they used to do?
I can't remember what show. Isn't that from oh my god.
Modern Family. Yes, Modern Family. Family Guy, yeah.
No.
Simpsons, yeah.
Twilight Zone.
Loved Twilight. Loved Bella. Yeah.
Not Twilight, the Twilight Zone. Jesus. Twilight.
How you doing, Loca?
I don't even know the names of people in that flipping thing.
I know Edward and Jacob, and it's important
Edward.
apparently whose team you're on.
Yeah.
It's important whose team you're on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crew
It's
for your
very-
team
it's very-
Edward or team Jacob?
I don't know. I'm kind of... I'm a bit versed when it comes to this. I can take, either or. Both. I think maybe
You could
I would
take
do-
either or both. Okay.
Or take it or leave it. I think maybe I'd be a bit more Edward.
Hmm.
Because I'd like to maybe
That's
be a vampire.
I pictured you as team Jacob though.
Oh. And see? You never know where you're going to go with me. It's going to be...
I guess
surprise
it's a
after
toss up. It's a
surprise.
toss up.
Yeah.
Damn, okay. What's happening?
Jebro, vampire or werewolf? Team vampire.
like?
Or
What do
It
you like?
depends. Are they Twilight vampires?
Well, I mean, it's in the
Technically.
name.
Yes, vampires then.
technicality.
Oh no, sorry, werewolves then. Sorry, not vampires.
Ooh, the Freudian slip.
Oh, yes.
Freudian slip.
Officially don't believe you.
Okay. You can like that, bro.
I'm sorry.
What about you, Angle?
I'm B team Jacob.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a
Gotta have
vampire or a
little-
werewolf?
Gotta have a little dog in him, werewolf.
You're the dog in me.
Okay.
Tell me to the wolves and I'll come back the leader.
What? Sorry.
I got that dog in me.
You do today.
Good lord.
I want to see my feet.
Then give a dog a bone. Sorry.
Oh my god. Oh my
Why is
god.
this what happens every podcast
time.
I've been on? It's just, is it
Every
me?
time.
Is it,
No,
does this happen every time for
no.
y'all?
Yes.
It does.
Okay.
It does. In varying forms, but you're definitely part of the problem.
Let's put a leash on this conversation and put it in
okay.
the kennel.
We're not
You're
saying
talking
that.
about Twilight or Guild Wars 2?
Maybe both. Ooh, crossover.
Probably.
For
I mean, loads
Halloween.
of people do. There's probably a Twilight Fortnite collab in the future. Who knows? Depends. Fortnite loves that shit. Anyway, before I go down the well of awfulness, welcome to episode 9 of season 4 of the Lightbringers podcast. Season 4 because we're on. Wait, what were you thinking? What were you thinking, Ekroof?
No, you said down the well, and I just was thinking it was like Jack and Jill fell down a hill, but who fell down the well? There's like a
Alice. Alice
she
in
fell down a
Wonderland.
rabbit hole.
Or no, the rabbit hole. Sorry, not a well. Oh my god.
Who fell down the well?
Changed the
What's
whole
the-
story, Engel.
Well, look. It was
Fell down a well.
It was a rabbit hole. It was no well.
She fell down a well.
Everybody's getting pushed
She
on the
would've
well by
died.
Engelbert now, okay?
Alice in Wonderland wouldn't have been existing. It would have just been Alice fell down the well and died.
No, it's at the bottom of the well. Oh my god.
That's the whole story. Just a story about Alice like tripping because they're like, just like unconscious in a coma, just like what's happening?
It's the well of ketamine. It's just
The well of ketamine.
new
It's
necro well
ketamine.
drop. New necro well. Hey.
There you go. Pulled it back. Did you look it up, Engel, and find that it was not a well?
I did Google. It is in fact a rabbit hole and not a well. But I believed you when you told me 100%, and it just don't come to me for a nursery rhyme or classic book
Sorry,
knowledge.
right.
I'm
Look.
so sorry to derail. I'm so sorry.
A true intro is being had right now. It's very good. Oh dear, that was good. Needed that. Okay, it's episode 9. We've got some news. We got some news of Guild Wars 2. Finally. It's been a bit.
Ooh,
I feel
not so much.
not so much. Wait, what?
Continue.
Okay. And we haven't had much news, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Or did we have more news?
No. I mean, we have the blog post.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
And the teaser.
And the
And
teaser,
teaser?
yeah, we have a spectral agony icon.
Is that okay? Well, is that what it is? I was going to ask, and that's okay. Well, there you go.
Oh, sorry. I'm just really smart.
I have
know.
no idea. I don't know. I don't know nothing. Okay, so we're going to talk about a blog post, which is the Unseen Ones, a primer on the Masat, and we're also going to have a quick look at the little cheeky teaser, which I believe was before. It's funny because I look at the teaser on Blue Sky, and the first thing I see is Engelbert's post with, "Oh my god, what is that?" And there's like 10 likes on it.
Look.
I'm hoping that this is going to work and it's not going to break because I didn't test this screen. So we'll find out. Let's actually do this before I do that. Let's do this before I do that. Okay, there we go. Oh. So the only thing we're missing is half of Crew's face.
Oh, leave it.
Leave it?
We don't need the other half. That's fine.
Sure. There we go. Okay, lovely. Boom. So there's the teaser above, and then there's Engel's reply. Those kinds of nails.
The Cardi B.
Is that who it is?
Yeah, it's Cardi B.
Okay. I don't
Oh
know.
my god, what is that? What is that?
Yeah.
Yes,
I
you
love
got
that.
it. You got it.
Amazing. Because,
I need to hop on Blue Sky. I'm missing out.
yeah, Blue Sky's like, stop posting on Twitter. Stop it, everyone.
I love
Stop
Blue
posting
Sky.
on Twitter.
I love
Twitter
Blue
is
Sky.
the worst. It's literally run by a Nazi. Let's stop supporting Nazis, everyone.
That's key. That is true.
Let's stop that. Okay. Do what you want. Everyone do what you want. Welcome everyone, if you're just coming to the stream as well. The thing that shocks me the most about that GIF reply is the fact that this person has nails like that. Because I just don't get it.
Acrylics?
How does that, but they're long. Like, how do you do anything? Like,
You
You
adapt,
learn.
you overcome.
you don't. It's just like you don't do anything. You get other people to do it for you.
That you
works.
could do that as well
Okay.
if you want to. It's a nice way to get like more people to help you out sometimes. Be like, I can. But people adapt. They
Yeah, you learn.
do a lot of knuckles, a lot of like.
I actually have I wear long nails, not as long as Cardi B's, but occasionally wear pretty long nails, and I can like type and do everything that you just
Really?
like figure out how to do it on little tippy top. It's like wearing high heels, you know. You just kind of adapt.
You should get some acrylics, Jebro, and for
You should.
stream, just have like a good few inches, you know,
I should add a few inches.
or centimeters. Sorry, I know.
I'm gonna leave
Imperial
that one
versus
right
metric.
there.
Thank you, Engel. Everyone's leaving it apparently. All right,
Yeah.
so we're gonna leave that and we're gonna go to this, which is there is a bit of sound to it as well. It's a face. I thought it was Halloween. I was like, it's February. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Wait.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
So, Croof, you've got some insight about this because I ain't got a flipping
do.
clue what's going
I
on.
have a lot of insight.
Okay, give me your insight.
A lot of mastery insight, actually. So I went on like online, and other people told me that it was Spectral Agony Icon, and then I went to the wiki and I checked. I googled Guild Wars 2 Spectral Agony, and I went to the wiki and I saw the icon. I was like, oh yeah, that's the icon.
Interesting.
And also, I guess if we are going to elaborate upon this, Spectral Agony is associated with the Mersat. So this was posted before the blog post as a little teaser as to what was happening, even though we kind of knew where we were going next in the story with Bavanisos being a Mersat area. But, you know, they're ramping up the Mersat stuff.
Does anyone want maybe to elaborate on what Spectral Agony does for those that don't know? I have the wiki up and I can do that.
You do that.
Okay. So Spectral Agony is, the wiki says, and I quote, Spectral Agony is an effect caused by attacks from Jade Construct and Mersat that damages and applies confusion, torment, cripple, and slow to the target each second. And you use the mastery point counter magic to return conditions of Spectral Agony to the caster. But it's something that can kill you super quick if you don't have protections against them.
Yes, it will wreck you very quickly.
Yes.
Which
I've
is the same thing
in the original Guild Wars as well. When you encountered the Mersat in OG Guild Wars, they would like mortar you very fast.
Okay.
And a part of me has wondered, because I have all the masteries, I've had them for so long, and I noticed that they were sometimes utilizing that counter magic mastery in like more modern expansions. And I don't remember them like ever addressing a way that like players. So I'm like, did they just bake it in that everyone, when that mechanic pops up, everyone can hit the special action? I did wonder about that slightly, but I never really brought it up because it was just such a minor thing. But yeah, that counter magic popped up in a couple areas for like when you're fighting Titans or like certain like bounty mechanics. I don't know if it's like it's essentially the same effect, but I don't know if it's like tagged as like Spectral Agony. So
right,
I found it interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like, so I'm looking at the wiki for counter magic now as well, and it looks like they have a whole bunch of different enemy types that it'll return magic back to the caster as well. And I'm like, from starter maps, Queensdale, Kessex Hills, Brisbane, you know, the Crown Pavilion, all the way to the new ones with Jade Constructs and like things in Bloodstone Fen and all that. So we'll probably see this particular mastery getting used again.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
It's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. But then, it's a precursor, no pun intended. I mean, that's a weak pun, but Guild Wars 2. Anyway. Mersat things.
Mersat.
And then we had a blog post. So it's kind of, I was just like, oh, that's cool. Because I ain't got no idea.
How do y'all feel about the Mersat? What are your reactions to the Mersat? Because I know they're like a staple of Guild Wars 1, and we've only had a few encounters in Guild Wars 2. But how do you all like perceive the Mersat in terms of like their threat level in the Guild Wars story?
Threat level?
Or like how much water do they hold in your like interests?
That's a good question.
I really love White Mantle history and lore, so I am actually excited that Mersat are being brought up in a bigger capacity. To me, they're really ambiguous as to how good and or bad they are. I feel like they
Yeah.
kind of play their own game. So my curiosity is piqued here to be like, what exactly is their role in what's currently happening? Were they trying to be the good guys in protecting us from these titans and something happened? Or were they trying to be, are they the instigators? Are they the bad guys? That did they lead into
Mm.
what's about to happen in this new part of
Mm.
the story? So yeah, I do find it piquing my curiosity a little bit.
Definitely the darker side, I think, in the second map, where I was like, the way they sacrifice people and like,
Yeah.
you know, that part
And
I think pulled
Jebro.
me in more. Yeah, like it was when you went to go and see specifically the I think like the ghosts. Are they ghosts? I can't remember what they are. They're all the spirits still, and they come back, and you're just talking to
In the
them. And
Bloodstone.
yeah, in the Bloodstone, that's right. And then there's that story. I think that's the first time where I've just been like a lot more in, other than, you know, grades or whatever. But like, you know, I mean, I think that's the first time where I've been like, oh, this is like really dark, and kind of there's almost a real lack of morals to a degree, but in such a way where they feel like they might be doing good. And I'm like, which is so yeah. I was going to comment about something else, but it might not be appropriate. So yeah, I think that part of it for me is intriguing, because they don't see, it doesn't matter, like, or even sacrifice children. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, oof, that's pretty heavy. And like, there's some really good stories that they told through like the Bloodstone and whatnot, which were really cool. And I was there for a while listening, and I went back, and it was cool. And I think that part, other than that, I'm also a bit like, just start with kind of seeing, but they're not really done. So they kind of need to be, all that kind of stuff needs to be fleshed out more, I think, for people to have some kind of resolution, or just be like, close the chapter on that for a while and then bring in something brand new and completely different, which we already had last expansion, right? With Secrets of the Obscure, it was like the only old thing that existed really was the tower itself. And then you got, I mean, I know the wizards are old, but like, you know, all of that was pretty new. I think it's a good thing to go back into the lore of stuff that's maybe unresolved and like hasn't been completely completed and finished, and
Which
I think
is
I'll
nice
probably do that
because
next time.
the Mersat are from Nios, so there's that little bit of connection
Yeah.
between the realms. It's nice to see some bits of Secrets of the Obscure still having a prominence in the current story.
Yeah, even if
Like
it's
with
just like
Milan.
mechanics and stuff. Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I like the Mersat a lot. I think for both reasons that you had mentioned, Engel and Jebro, I like how they are free agents and that they have their own self-preservation above all, which can lead them to doing and enacting quite malicious and evil sacrifices or rituals and practices. But I think it's so interesting to have a character as like the generalized Mersat as being more morally gray, where you can kind of freely do evil things and use them as an agitator without them just being like, oh, this is the thing we are killing in the next expansion. There's kind of always there in the background, like being the malevolent force in the world.
Yeah, I kind of compare the Mossad to evangelical Christians, but I'm not sure how fair that is. Like hardcore, like pretty hardcore, like right leaning, like, you know, it's like
Self-preservation and like, you know, structure of how they live.
It's a bit more of an extreme version, of course, but you know, anyway. Okay, so I mean the more culty part than anything else.
Mhm.
The more kind of cult-esque part. I mean, I've worked with a lot of
Definitely branched off in the
folks.
white mantle.
Yeah, I've been. It's interesting. I've worked with a lot of folks who deconstruct those kinds of beliefs and systems, and it's very, very like scary. Actually, things you're told to believe about yourself and other people, and how you can't go without outside of these realms. It feels very similar to the Messiah at times, and I'm just like, there's some good old sea vibes in here. Not that I say that to my clients, but because they wouldn't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I'm not saying all
Put 'em
religion
on,
is bad,
Jebro.
everyone.
You got to social network the game. Send them your affiliate link. Hey, I know you're paying me for this service, but you want to also pay me for this service too?
Okay. And I'm not saying all religion is bad, everyone. People have their things. And I'm happy for them.
No, I think
if
you
they're
literally just
happy,
did.
as long as they're being respectful and not hurting anyone. Okay. So, let's read through this. Who wants to read first? And people don't have to read unless they want to.
Are we going around the room like in
Oh my
school?
god. Popcorn reading?
Popcorn.
If you want to. I don't know. Engel, I don't know if you want to read or not. You okay?
Reading.
Can I read? Yeah, I can read. Do you want me to start?
I don't know. Not like, can you read?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can read.
I love how one question can have so many meanings of like, can you read? Can
I
you
didn't
read?
know if anyone
Can
else
I?
in the
Can I?
world could read. I'm pretty sure that everything that's ever been produced has just been for me. Like, just checking. Ken.
Okay, I can. Yes, I can start.
You can start if you want, yeah, sure.
Excuse me. It's titled The Unseen Ones, a primer on the Mossad. Our second major update for Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds is coming on March 11th, and we'll be sharing many details about what to expect soon. Today, we'd like to spend some time recapping the known lore surrounding the nefarious and mysterious Mossad. Brushing up on these stories will help set the stage for our upcoming release, but with that in mind, there are some story and lore spoilers in this blog, so proceed with caution.
Okay.
Popcorn Jebro.
Popcorn.
Good luck.
Can
Popcorn.
Wait, what did you say?
Can you?
Can I
Sorry.
read?
Yes.
So good,
I
Angel.
popcorned it to you. Sorry, I'm.
What did you
Oh
say?
my
I didn't hear what you said.
Well, you might have to go back and rewatch.
Say popcorn, Jebro?
Yeah, I said popcorn. I'm popcorning it to you.
Oh,
Which
is that an American thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very,
Oh,
You do
okay.
it in like
Popcorn.
school where you go around the classroom and you have to
you go to
read
school,
the
Jebro?
paragraph. Did you go to school?
Well, I can't read, so no. I mean, either that or I was homeschooled.
Yeah, this-
Sorry.
it's nice
Homeschooling is fine,
American.
everyone. I can read, but I'm dyslexic,
No.
so there is that.
You guys would you say anything like over in like the UK to like when you're doing like a group public reading in school, like to toss it to someone?
Colin.
Next, maybe?
Just
I don't know.
Next? Oh, that's boring. You just go in like a straight line, you
I
just
just
down the
England
road.
for you. It's not very original, is it, most of the time? We steal other people's cultures and bring them into our own. It's pretty much what we're
I will
about,
say,
really.
Popcorning did have the potential to bully people. So if you like really didn't like someone and there was a huge paragraph, you'd be like, popcorn you.
Just pass it on, I guess. I don't know. Oh, that's kind of sad. Anyway, ancient rivalries. The Mossad are a species of powerful spellcasters with a long and shadowed history in Tyria. Ooh. These tall humanoids possess elongated bodies, preferring to float ominously rather than walk. Alongside the dwarves, Jotun, Forgotten, and Seers, the Mossad are known as an elder race of Tyria, the beings who preceded and survived the rise of the Elder Dragons before the events of the original Guild Wars. In those ancient times, the Mossad and Forgotten allied to subdue Zaitan, but their efforts failed, and the Mossad resented the other elder races for pulling their support away before the fight had even begun. Sometime after the Elder Dragons returned to their slumber, the Masat and the Seers waged war for thousands of years until the Seers were all but extinct. During that war, the Masat began using a terrible weapon called spectral agony, which killed its victims while causing them indescribable amounts of pain. So I think we could probably
IBS.
take away some... Wait, what? Say IBS.
I like to imagine it was just like intense irritable bowel like discomfort.
Oh, good lord.
That's my spectral agony sometimes.
Yeah, I got that one. That's a fun one. I'm trying to think what there is there. I mean, we kind of know. I mean, I think it's good. It's good information because it reminds me that I've forgotten so much of this stuff. So it's nice to have all of this information again and just be like, yeah, this is like really, the Masat are really steeped in history. And I think I forget that a lot of the time. I mean, matching them up to dwarves, I think is unfair because dwarves are clearly the best. But like,
the Seers would like to have a little word with you.
yeah, but they actually said alongside the dwarves first.
But they didn't like
said
capitalize dwarves. Like Seers are like a proper noun.
Because dwarf,
you know?
because forgotten are like it's different. It's a title of a
No
thing.
one's
The
talking about
exist.
forgotten. They're forgotten for a reason.
Dwarves are the best though.
What?
Dwarves are the best though. That's my whole thing.
I'll let you have it. I'll let you
Thanks.
have it. You're welcome.
But my God, how dare you? So yeah, this is good. I like the information. I have thoughts about the delivery of this, but we'll go through it first, and we can talk about. Is there anything from this where you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about this, or this is helpful for people because especially newer players or people who didn't play Guild Wars, or
I think it's nice
forgotten.
that because the Mersat are kind of seen as like more so leaning into evil. It's nice to bring up in
Just
their
a
history
bit
that
grove, yes. They're on the evil
Slightly.
side of things.
slightly questionable, I would say.
To themselves,
but
not.
It's nice. Yeah, definitely. But it's nice to bring up that there was a moment in time where they were willing and actually very eager to team up with other races to go after a shared goal. And it's not just like, we are the best and we are going to deal with it ourselves. They're like very smart, very they approach the situation with like a lot of like a level head. And so they're able to understand that like, oh, we are very powerful, but in this situation, we are willing to, team up where it benefits themselves, but also everyone technically. So
Do we know why? Now this may be a question that might be silly, but I don't know why the other elder races pulled their support away.
I knew it sometime. I've forgotten. I think
Okay.
they might have just been hesitant.
That
to
makes me
actually
feel sad
face-
about the dwarves, to be fair. Is that because they were somewhere else doing fighting?
Oh, the
Probably.
stone. I think they got turned to. Did they get turned to stone then?
Or was that when they were
they took the
underground
oath?
fighting the thingamajigs? Or was that
There's a
different
lot
time?
of. There's a lot of lore. There's a lot of lore.
They were fighting the
but-
destroyers and stuff, weren't they, underground? Or was that after?
I think so. But hey, one thing I will say, shout out to the Forgotten. They showed up. They're like, they got the invite.
True.
They said that they would RSVP and attend the party. Everyone else did not come to the birthday party. The Forgotten rolled up with cake, with soda, said, "Sup, y'all? I'm here," and they tried their best.
The Forgotten we don't talk about much, right?
Not
I mean,
too much. That was
obviously,
mostly
because they're forgotten.
Path of Fire. Yeah, it's kind of it's their name, but
It's in
they
the name.
popped up in like Path of Fire. I would say like
Okay.
for enemy types.
Yeah, there's a question there for me that I might need to go and research a little bit and be like, okay, well, I'm legitimately not going to go and do that unless I remember it on the side. But, it'd be interesting to think about doing that. Okay. So there is actually a lot in there that makes me think like, oh, I want to kind of go and research and look back at that and think about the spectral, agony again. Because it does seem like they're kind of, the Masat are kind of salty that people didn't come and support them and they couldn't kill the dragon. So they started off, and it started out as like this faction that was actually, I mean, I don't know if good is the right word, but you know, they knew that there was a more evil presence in the world that needed to be quelled, and they grouped up together with other people, and then they kind of got salty and did all the things. And that's a little bit more vague, but I like to operate in that world sometimes. But anyway, it's interesting. I think I almost kind of want to know a bit more about that, and maybe we'll find out more as Kroof talks about the rise of the White Mantle.
Oh yes, the good old White Mantle. This is where we get into the human stuff.
Ooh.
So we have the rise of the White Mantle. After learning to hide from those without the gift of true sight, the Mersat began manipulating Tyrian events in secret. Lazarus the Dyer was a powerful Mersat who was instrumental in helping his people influence members of the other sentient races of Tyria. The Mersat were particularly interested in keeping the Flameseeker prophecies, which foretold their own eradication by the Titans, from becoming reality. Lazarus chose the human Saul D'Alessio to form the White Mantle in an effort to rule Kryta as puppets of the Mersat. The Mersat helped the Krytans battle against the Char when they were outnumbered and desperate. This assistance came with a price, however, and the Mersat killed any they deemed unworthy, leaving only the most stalwart zealots alive. Saul realized too late that these gods were not the salvation he prayed for, and he was taken away by his unseen masters. Even after Saul's abduction, the Mersat used their White Mantle puppets to commit horrific sacrifices in an attempt to keep the door of Kamali shut and prevent the Titans from emerging. One site of these atrocities was Gavril, a human village in Janthir's century, the residents of which the White Mantle had subjugated. When the village was emptied, the Mersat turned on their White Mantle sycophants. Ultimately, the Mersat failed. The door of Kamali was opened, the Titans emerged, and the Mersat fell. That's really dense. That's a lot of dense lore for this section.
It is packed in, isn't it? It's like they begin and end there. Like it was like the rise. It should have been the rise and fall of the White Mantle there, I think, maybe. Although maybe they didn't fall completely. But that is a lot. Yeah, it feels like they could have had another section. But it's good. It's good information. Again.
I think this is, I don't think, I mean, I would believe for some people who have not played a lot of the detailed side quests in Janthir Wilds, that this section would kind of feel a little out of place. Yes, the Mersat were orchestrating all this, but like, why are they bringing up the White Mantle? It's because I think that we're going to see a lot more White Mantle activity in the next story patch, because there is a small unit of White Mantle in Sintry who were trying to get to Bavanisos, but were unable to. And now that we know the next patch we're going to be heading there, I think we're going to have to deal with more White Mantle that we haven't had to deal with in a long time.
The next patch we're heading where?
Towards Bavanisos.
Oh, okay. Go.
Which is the older Mersat city.
Right, okay. Is that anywhere? Do we know where that's located on the map?
I don't know.
I think there is some speculation in the books that we read in like the side stories of Janthir Century, where they were getting on a boat. I think it was to the north, if I remember, of that map, because they were in a boat traveling closer to something, but then they'd get like a crazy splitting headache and have to turn back. And there's some speculation that was like maybe the wards around Bavanisos that they put to protect and keep people out, affecting folks. At least it's how I've interpreted it. But I think it's to like the northwest-ish of Janthir Century, if I recall.
Yes, it's hidden by storms somewhere deep in the Isles of Janthir, haven't been abandoned since the Mersat's fallen. Their war against the Titans and Shining Blade. The city is known as a mysterious and hostile place, obviously. Oh, okay. But Venice is
speculation, I think, but
right.
It could totally be somewhere different. But
well, this is the thing I'm reading from is on the wiki.
Oh, great.
So you're right. It says Bavanis is a city made of alabaster and golden filigree. Reminds me of what's it called? Auric Basin, like that kind of city.
Yeah.
That's one of your
I'm
favorites,
really-
isn't it, Groove?
It is.
I think
I'm
you're gonna
really
like this place a lot.
interested
Yeah.
to see how they execute this in a visual format, not just like written. I'm excited.
looking forward to a new map. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
And I bet it's going to be completely different to the ones we've just had as well.
But I don't think we're getting Bavanisos this update.
Oh, you don't think so?
I think we're getting it for the final update because they were originally
Okay.
going to have this just be one map that they extend in the final patch, but they've
That's
decided to do two separate
two.
ones.
Ah, okay, fair. Okay, so this is on the way to there.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. All right. Is there any?
Anything else before we popcorn?
Are we popping and corning?
Pop the corns, feed the children.
So the door. Where's the door of Kamali? Is that where is that? Is it
Fire Island
located?
chains.
Okay.
I think it's in the Fire Island chains.
Yes.
If I have not finished prophecies, but if my general like absorption of knowledge is reliable.
Okay. If someone
Yeah,
wants...
Ring of Fire Islands.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We can do the corning and read that bit. I'm just gonna nip to do something very quickly, and I'll be right back. But you read the thing and then talk, and I'll be right back. Okay? I will be but a minute. But a minute.
Popcorn angle.
Okay. I'm reading about mastering Mersat Shadowcraft. The Mersat practiced a kind of magic called Shadowcraft, which allowed them to travel through a shadowed pocket of existence within Tyria. Using Mersat mirrors, they were able to travel long distances in a short amount of time by passing through that shadowed realm. A new mastery line in the next major release will allow the Wayfinder to tap into this same magic after learning more about the Mersat and exploring the outer ruins of one of their great cities. So I think even just with that last sentence, Kroof, that you know mentioning this is going to be like outside of Bavanisos, I think you're right with that. Will end up in the outer ruins. Yes. I am curious about this mastery line because this is the first time I read it, so now I'm like excited. The Mersat mirrors, you could travel long distances in a short amount of time by passing through the shadow realm. Does this mean we get like super fast map travels to somewhere? Like, do I get something in my pocket that's like I can click on anywhere I've been before? Like, what does this mean?
What does it mean? There are actually, now that you bring that up, I hadn't thought about that in terms of the mirror system, but I think like that could be really cool for a couple like existing masteries. It'll probably be its own thing, but I was thinking like the jackal portals. Jackals don't get a lot of use outside of like Path of Fire, and jackals are kind of magical, and it also made me think of like a Jade bot waypoint almost. So like a new version of that where you can place down like two mirrors on a map and you can just travel between them. Or of course like interacting with the ones that they place themselves, on the map. I think that's actually really cool. I think this is the first time that I can remember hearing the words specifically like Shadowcraft and Mersat mirrors. I don't remember that as being a part of the lore in terms of like a name for their magic and their tools that they use. It might be there like in some of it, but Mersat lore in general.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard mention of the mirrors at all before either.
Interesting.
I think so. I think there's possibilities. There's some very cool things here. Like even, you mentioned having like two mirrors on a map, like a longer distance portal, like almost like a mesmer portal, but over a longer distance. Like that could have some cool possibilities, like in a meta, for example. You got to get
Yeah.
from one end of the map to the other really quickly. I don't know. I'm just my
Mm.
mind is going crazy
because
thinking about that.
or this could also be like a kind of different way for them to implement like in Heart of Thorns when you would have certain masteries, you get like access to like a small area with like a mini game or an adventure because you're technically slipping
Mm.
into a shadowed realm. So it's
Yeah.
like adjacent to Tyria.
Is it that
So
you are
you could have,
physical passing through it, or is it your energy that passes through it that's just going through it quickly?
I think you physically pass through this realm because the Mersat themselves hide. That's how they're able to go unseen, is that they phase into this shadow pocket dimension.
Now, that's interesting. What Neb's saying in the chat said, could also be some kind of new iteration of New Hawk wallows or thermal tubes. Now, if
Ew.
that was something that was done, would you be disappointed or fine with that?
I'm fine with it. I'd want it to be.
Okay.
I would want it to be an expansion on the Jackal and using its portal system, just because
Sure.
I like the Jackal a lot. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have
Yeah.
expanded mount usage, like with the Warclaw. They expanded what that whole mount system looked like for that. So
It's true.
maybe it is
Mhm.
something to do with mounts or the Jackal.
That's a good point.
I think it's going to be its own thing. And it might mimic that in terms of like giving you greater access to covering terrain or getting access to special areas in the map where you could like have chest rooms or a puzzle or a jumping puzzle, some type of boss fight.
What is the Shadow
Or for a
Realm?
quest. I think this is the first time that they have used the word shadowcraft to label a specific magic. I can't remember them ever using this, so I'm very pleased that ArenaNet is unveiling more of their world. I like to believe that the story developers have like a complete like written out rules and logic to everything that is happening. I like to believe that. But I don't feel like we are oftentimes privy to that information. So getting a name of the type of magic that the Mersat practice for a lore nerd like me, I'm like, okay, that's actually really nice. I appreciate that.
There's nothing. There's no mention of this in any guild or sub before today, other than Shadow Arts, which is
it does
completely
kind
different.
of mimic like thief magic,
Yeah,
like with specters being able to
in the
like
shadows
shadow
and
step.
stuff. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's just a name. It's like shadow, right? Like it's just a. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? Moving in the shadows quicker so that you can get to another spot. But yeah.
And to point out, aside from the written blog posts, this is kind of where they showed off some concept art for,
yes,
I'm guessing, the new map.
Let's have a look.
And it looks really cool.
The big bloodstone in the middle.
Big ass bloodstone. And in this like ruins area, there looks to be like some architecture in the background. It's really dark and eerie and misty, which I like. I like that ambiance of just like a haunted, ruined town.
I hope it is going to be darker than the Janthir Century map.
It'd be a great juxtaposition.
I think it will be based on the things that happened in the past at these locations. I do think it will be darker.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Century's like a nice primer into slow. I think with Janthir Wilds, it's kind of a fun change in aesthetics where you're like in the lowland wilds and it's so beautiful, and then it starts to get more dilapidated in Century, and then hopefully when we get into these maps, it's just going to be like utter darkness.
It's true. You get from like Coden, who are like very alive and spirited and like bright and hopeful, to the more dark and doomy parts of the. Yeah, it does have that kind of nice transition. You're right. It's pretty cool. Hopefully, I do want some darker maps because I like Blaze Ridge Steps in Guild Wars 2, the map where Thingy is the.
Where Thingy is, yes.
Jesus Christ, the world boss. Wild Wasp. They redid
In
it years and years ago. Purple.
in Blaze Ridge?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Blaze Ridge Depths. Which one is this? Oh, the Shatterer?
Yeah.
Shatterer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just forgot the name of the shower.
You have a statue of the Shatterer. I'm surprised you remember the map's name. I would have never.
I know, right? But I remember the map names in Guild Wars 2, like the original game, because I really love just walking around those, because that map was really cool because it felt like this really. I think there's a lot of maps in the game where I feel like enemies are present, but there I feel like there is more. They're very present and very encroaching and very, dominating. Not necessarily in a very dangerous way, but they're just very present. There's just you feel their presence there by like just the map, and not just the actual creatures, but the way the map's designed in terms of, there's lots of purple, there's lots of
The brand.
the brand is everywhere, right? Like you can see the land has been literally scorched by this, and it's just very cool because it was in the original game. Like I think that kind of map is the thing I like to see a lot more of, and I think there's evidence of that, but not in the maps where you kind of just can walk around forever. There's it's more instance maps where that's more present. I like to see that more. And maybe in this as well, relating it to this, it would be really cool to see something very unique and different, I think. Anyway, I digress slightly. I really want to go back there right now. Okay, that's in my head. Anyway, but yeah, the artwork's beautiful as well. Oh, I skipped forward a
Very
bit.
pretty.
Even this artwork was good. Anyway, so hopefully, looking forward to new things. Is there anything else there in that shadow craft part? I mean, the mastery. So you think the mastery could be like with the portals, like getting from one place to another?
That could be for like the mirrors specifically.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
if we're tapping into Shadowcraft itself, it's kind of more like it's magic. It can kind of be whatever they want it to be in terms of a mechanic.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit of a wide guess right now.
Do you guys have like a desire, or is there something that you've wanted to see with the mastery system that hasn't been done yet? From like an actual gameplay perspective, from how it interacts with the map, from movement to like convenience? It's very difficult because I think we're at the point like
It's
in
so
its
many.
life cycle with the masters. Like they've kind of done everything that they.
So many, and there's so many that are map specific. I think,
Which I don't usually like those.
Yeah,
But
I
like,
mean,
but I also think like it could maybe make it more exciting. I did not like Yala Delve. I did not like how that interacted with the mastery system.
I can't remember the map.
But maybe there's a world where they interact with a more map-wide mastery, and I like it.
I think a more general one. I mean, I think the general mastery they had for leveling up just in the core game was good, right? Like, so like area loot, that kind of thing, where it's more quality of life stuff. So if you had like a mastery which worked on like your backpack, for example, so you could extend the amount of bag slots you've got, depending on how many you have or something, I don't know. I'm like, you got an extra slot for each bag you have. Like you mastered the art of carrying more stuff, or you build this stat up in the game so you have more, you're allowed to carry stuff when you're more encumbered, etc. I don't know, but I mean that's a different mechanic completely. Do you know what I mean? Like something that hits your character more permanently in a way which is, well, like the mounts, really. I mean, those are permanent, right? So they're more appealing, I think. But when they're very map specific, it can be a bit like, this map must be really good, because otherwise I'm going to use this. I'm going to play that map and I'm going to be done. And it's going to be kind of not a waste, but...
Well, I think depending on how Shadowcraft is implemented, like if it is something where like you can move across certain maps, or you can place portals, or you have like you could go to I don't know, you've got a mirror, a compact mirror in your pocket, and you can click it to go anywhere you want to go, you know.
I mean, maybe.
Like that's a quality of life thing, I think, that
Hmm.
you know could be something that you see across multiple maps. Also, just like we're talking a shadowed pocket of existence in Tyria, shadowed
True.
versions of these maps, like we there's
Oh.
possibilities in where I'm thinking, where in the future we go to like shadowed divinity's reach, and you know, I don't know, there's something like
Okay.
in that
I like that
realm,
idea.
maybe
Hmm.
some like I don't know, achievement or puzzle or something you could do in the shadowed
Oh,
version.
it's like when
um
Frodo puts on the ring and everything
yeah.
feels like, yeah.
Like
Okay.
also you see things that weren't necessarily there before. A chatoyant lens, but it's a shadow lens. I don't know. This is all
Hmm.
Wait,
speculation, but I
Angle,
do
your
think there's a big
brain?
possibility here for it to be a wider thing than just this map. So I'm hoping to see maybe some of that, but we'll see.
Interesting. Yeah, I like
That was a
those.
I
huge
don't
take.
know.
That was
That was a
lovely.
good. That was a good idea.
I
That's
didn't think
good.
about it like incorporating with other maps just because I'm like, what else could there be? But that
Well,
it could be a fun way of
like
adding more space.
I'm thinking about it too, because it's like it doesn't change existing maps
Hmm.
necessarily to go to the shadowed version of a map. You're
Mm.
not like going and putting in new NPCs or new areas of a map and trying to make it make sense with it. Like you literally are going to a different version of the same map.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The possibilities there in my brain are endless, but when are the possibilities ever not in my brain? All the time. Like it
That's
was
good.
really
It's good to
interesting.
have that
Anyway,
creativity and curiosity. It's a healthy thing. It's good. No, yeah, that is. I think that's
it has my
fucking.
curiosity peaked.
Well, I mean, that's. I mean, that's the main thing I go off of on my therapy work with clients. If we're not curious about the world, we're kind of fucked. Like we have to be, especially
Valid.
now. We have to be curious about the world. We have to be
Right.
curious about our future,
Mhm.
and things in general, because that's what newness is. Awesome. That's good. So I'm glad that is a theme which is coming out for all of us. Like the curiosity of like, ooh, there's all this information which is lore, which is technically like past and future building, but it's also giving us an idea of what there could be. So it brings an idea into. So this is very well written then, in that respect. I'm not saying that their blog posts aren't well written, but it's giving us a bit. It's giving us some ideas, some
Enough to think
fantasies.
about.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, lovely. Okay, this is the last section. You just read. Is it Proof, do you
I
want to
just
read?
read.
Proof, do you want to read the last bit?
I'm down.
Sure.
I'm down. We have Exploring the Mistburned Barrens. During the events of Guild Wars 2, Secrets of the Obscure, we learned that the Mersat do not originate from Tyria at all, but in fact came from Nyos, the realm of dreams. We also discovered that the Mersat weren't entirely extinct, as we were introduced to Maban, a senior member of the Wizard's Court and our only known Mersat ally. In the next major release for Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds, the Wayfinder will explore the ruined outskirts of Bavanisos, an ancient Mersat city built on the battleground where the Mersat Seer Wars finally ended with the Seers defeated. With their enemies gone and the human gods withdrawn from the world, the Mersat thrived in Bavanisos until the door of Kamali opened. Shortly after that, the Titans attacked and destroyed the city. Maban, as one of the last remaining Mersat, had cast a ward over the ruins to preserve its memory, but that ward fell after his death. The city's secrets are now unearthed for all to see. There's much to be learned about the Mersat from the newly accessible remnants of Bavanisos. Studying their last home may provide deeper insight into who they were as a people. Make sure to check back next week for more information about the next major update. Yay.
Damn. Okay. Well, that's friggin' awesome. I was gonna say the F-bomb. I'm trying not to swear anymore. Oh my god. Oh, that's not gonna happen. This art is really good.
Beautiful.
Wow.
It kind of reminds me of
Holy crap.
Nios.
Really?
It gives me. I think it might be the art style. I think this
Oh,
particular
the
art style
structures.
with structures and just the fogginess of it. I think it's just
Okay.
because this particular like I don't know art style was used in Secrets of the Obscure.
Mm.
And I also think it's kind of a nice tie because the Mersat are from Nios, and it kind of has that eerie, misty, shrouded in secrets vibe.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that, where you're like lost in the wilds and you don't know where to turn.
What's that statue on the right hand side?
What's the Coden one? Interesting that there would be a Coden carved statue here.
Is it Coden?
Yeah, it's one of the decorations. It's like when you first get to the village and there's like that bridge connecting, but there's a little like patio area. There's like a Coden carved statue with a spear and there's a bunch of fish going up.
Oh, okay.
Coden.
Interesting. Yeah. Oh, okay. Quite a big one. And then you've got the wizards there as well, hanging out. So everyone's here. Well, not everyone, but like the wizards and some Coden, obviously. But like some people are here. Okay, there's a lot there. Yeah, there is a lot. Where do I even begin with this? There is, I think, the outskirts of Bavanisos. So is this like the... So it's a mixture of like ruins and I guess what a little bit of Sintry, kind of that kind of atmosphere as well.
One thing. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
continue.
Go. My brain is like in the middle of thinking about many things.
One thing I read that jumped out in my brainy brain was the sentence Maban as one of the last remaining Mersat.
Yeah.
And I was like, but wasn't he weren't we meant to believe that he was the last Mersat? So they didn't say he was like for sure the last Mersat. And now I'm thinking maybe there's more and we might find them.
Yeah.
I think he would trap them. Mate, do you think he made the force field to keep them in there as well, maybe? Or like
keep them in, keep them out?
I think
no,
because the Mersat are so bent on self-preservation and they have extreme mastery over Shadowcraft traveling into the realms or the pocket Shadow Realm. I would not be surprised if some of the Mersat in Bavanisos were in that shadowed realm when Maban sealed it. So
and
maybe
they were stuck because of the...
Yeah.
Oh, that's
perhaps.
another good thing. Ooh.
There is very easy access lore-wise for them to bring back some more Mersat. In a way that I think I would feel very fine with it happening. I'd be like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Because they obviously don't, because the reason, obviously they don't want the current Titans to come, well, because the idea is that the Titans are going to come through and kill them.
Yeah. Which they did. The Dora Kamali was opened and the Titans were able to get to Bavanisos and slaughter them.
So now...
So I'm assuming some of them were like, I'm going to dip.
Yeah, going to the shadow place. But now, like, because I thought there was like an emphasis, pardon me, on the door of Kamali being opened again and what's going to happen again. Is that something that we are thinking about, do you think? That was what I felt like.
Think so, because the question of who opened it, why were the Titans created, or why are they back? Why are they here again? Is still floating around. And I think like, what is it? Ura even kind of alludes to that.
Talking
in
about
the story.
Godspawn.
Right. So like Godspawn, I mean, like people thought that the Mersat were gods. That's Saul D'Alessio thought that they were a god, you know, which is why he was like, he like worshipped them until they betrayed him. And that whole story. But like, are the Mersat doing it? Are they here because the Mersat have reappeared? Like what? I
Yeah.
don't know. There's some questions
Oh,
there.
because they know they're right. Okay.
Well, I guess with all of the events that transpired in Secrets of the Obscure, with Mabon passing, it might have been like opportune moments for whoever is commanding these Titans. Because you also have to think about like the Scepter of Ore, the Chekhov's gun thing. We haven't currently used that, but someone at the moment is giving direction to Ura and Greer and Decima. Their mission is probably to kill the Mersat still. And they're here maybe because they know that there are still Mersat in Bavanisos.
Interesting.
What else would I think? Because that was their original mission, and it changes a bit. But I think that they're having such a strong through line at the moment. It seems like it's leading to like more of that Mersat city, uncovering them, and maybe defending them. Are we gonna have to defend the Mersat? Ooh, that could be interesting.
Imagine
After
like
all
you have
they've
to.
done,
Yeah.
Yeah.
moral gray area.
What, against the Titans?
There's a lot of moving
Holy
parts to
shit!
this. Now that I've actually kind of like
Wait, you think we could be okay?
It would make for a juicy conundrum
there are more.
I mean, they did it. Oh, man, but
Is it? And
oh my
this
god,
has to be set up for the next expansion. Like, because this seems like it's
Maybe.
kind of big.
but
It seems like there's a lot of moving parts with bigger characters at play.
But like, if you think about what I mean, they wrote about this in the lore right at the beginning, right, or the Rise of the White Men, when they talked about not the Rise of the White Men, the ancient rivalries here, and they talked about how all of these races came together to fight fight, right? So in a way, it's almost like coming back around in a circle, almost as if like all of this stuff happened, and they're coming back. The Titans might be coming back, and it's not the dragons because now the Titans, like, you know, they're probably the most dangerous thing in the world, I guess. Other than themselves, probably, if they come back. So maybe like all of these races come back together, the ones that are around still, to make that alliance that fell all of that time ago. So, and then that kind of gets resolved in a very like a very different way of resolving the dragon cycle kind of thing.
And the dwarves return.
See,
much to Jebro's.
That is what that is exactly where I was going.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like, can you imagine? I mean, even if it's just what's his name when he comes back. You know, but we've got dwarfs. We've got dwarfs in, you know, in the Secrets of the Obscure. We just gotta get them to come over. But that would kind of also make sense. How, you know, there's a lot to build to that, but you know, I don't know.
I'm just wondering who's commanding the Titans at the moment. I think I've heard a lot of like Abaddon speculation, just because of the Realm of Torment and the Forge of Failed Creations.
Foundry.
That was Foundry of Failed Creations.
Is Abaddon that powerful? I don't know. I mean, it's just a legitimate kind of question, I guess.
He's strong. I mean, he was like the driving force for, what was it, Nightfall? So, I mean, he had god status, but like he was absorbed by Cormyr, right? But was he entirely? I don't. There's some. These are just the questions that I've been ruminating with every time that I kind of come back to Guild Wars 2's current narrative trajectory. I'm like,
damn,
where's it all leading to? Because I feel like we're kind of in the transition period of like who our enemy is. It's a lot of talk about like Tyria is a focal point for all of these mist beings trying to get here. And we're still in the process of like them trying to get here. So I'm like, I'm waiting for the person to pop through that portal to be like, I'm here now. We now have to deal with you.
Lots of mists and
the
shadows.
Titans are kind of doing it a little bit.
Yeah. True.
I've been hearing on the other side of things a lot about Menzies and the possibility of Menzies being involved here.
Wasn't Crown Herald also talking about Menzies a bit?
I think so.
I think so.
Can
Yeah.
you say more about that? Because I've totally forgotten what that is.
So
I need my memory jogged.
Menzies is Balthazar's half brother. And he commanded the Shadow Army against Balthazar's Eternals, I guess, back in the day. I'm kind of looking on the wiki here. But at some point, it says Menzies allied with Abaddon. And as part of this pact, Menzies sent 3 of his darknesses from the Shadow Army to lead a force of Doom's followers and Abaddon's demons in the attack on the Hall of Heroes through the portal from the Tomb of the Primeval Kings. When Abaddon attempted to break free from his prison and cause nightfall, Menzies lent some of his Shadow Army to the fallen god's cause, stationing them in Ravenheart Gloom on the edge of the Realm of Torment. So it's connected. Is it Menzies trying to get at Abaddon? Is it?
Yeah.
Because
I mean, they work together. So
yeah. I mean, and the Titans, right? Like they are like pieces of soul, right, from other individuals, or they're created. Isn't that right? Or am I totally making that up? Where they're like,
I don't know.
My God.
I legitimately don't know.
Sorry, what was the question?
The Titans are like made from the souls like sacrificed in like the bloodstone, or like they take on part of that person.
I think there is some element of soul work, soul foundry, like in their creation.
They're created from they're definitely created from the area that they are born from. So they have like the essence of the area. So like, you know, the ones that we're fighting right now, like the sulfur, etc. So they're definitely taken and formed from the land, but I don't know what their soul is, because there's something to them, isn't there? There is a, you know, an essence of something. It's not just this thing created from nothing. Like it's not just a golem, right? It's a.
I don't know if it's like exactly specified. It's just that they originate from the foundry of failed creations. But it's also implied that they existed before the foundry. So I think the foundry is just is like a manufacturing plant where it's like more streamlined into production of these titans, whoever's commanding them.
Okay. Well, an interesting note about Menzies here in this Shadow Army said during Secrets of the Obscure, they attempted to invade Tyria and face resistance from Lear, who pushed them back and demanded to know if the Shadow Army's master or someone else had sent them, and they did not get an answer.
Yeah, that's the thing I just zoomed in on as well.
Yeah, that's an interesting point to read. Like, they're active, at least. I don't know. Interesting.
I think Menzies is who is apparently proper pronunciation is Mengus.
Mengus, there you go.
Oh, we're not calling it that.
Rhymes with thing is Mengus.
It's like it's X. No.
Wow. That's like completely different. Is the name of a Highland Scottish clan. Okay. Yes.
I think Menzies is a very good candidate, just considering how the world is godless at the moment, and for him to perhaps kind of follow in his brother's footsteps, and also he'd be a great focal point of revenge for us killing him, maybe even more so than like Lyssa, which people often speculate they had like a relationship, and you know, so I think that's a plausible villain here.
If it is Abaddon or Menzies, is this a segue into the return of the human gods back into Tyria?
Yeah.
That
would be a fun story.
Yeah, could you imagine they all come back with egg on their face? They're like, guys, so how you been? We're like, you left us. What, are you kidding me?
Damn, there
Like,
was.
Oh, you
need
took
your
care of
help.
those dragons? Nice. Good. Yay.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.
It's actually like really chill here now. The vibes
It's
are
really
perfect.
chill.
Yeah.
The vibes are perfect.
But we did notice you do have a
Oh.
gaping wound. The mists seem to all be coming back in, and we were also just walking on by, but we got sucked into the slipstream, and we're here again too. What's up? I mean, the gods came here for a reason. It seems to be very plentiful with magic and energy, which seems to be a magnetic force for everything else that's coming in. So maybe it's worthwhile for them to come back and be like, oh guys, what's going on?
Yeah.
It would be fun.
There's so much. My brain is exploding a little tiny bit. I'm just kind of like.
I think it's because like with Guild Wars 2, I've been in the mode where like dragons are the enemy, dragons are the big bad, and it was very easy to kind of consolidate everything into that one
For sure.
force. And it might be somewhat the disservice of going down that route is that they also at the same time were world building the entire time, talking about other races, talking about other conflicts, but we never really gave it much.
Well, they dwarfed them, didn't they? No pun intended.
Literally.
Literally.
So now that they have this, it's a bit fun, but slightly overwhelming to play like, oh my gosh, okay, now we can look at the 50 other things that could be talked about for a story. And Secrets of the Obscure, I think, was a weird place to begin that journey, I think. Maybe it's a very weird place.
That's true.
But it allowed it to be very open.
If it was the birthplace of the Masat, though, it was also very necessary, right? If we are projecting where they're going, then maybe it is a very maybe not necessarily, but maybe that's we're gonna see the scope of this come together, I think, in a very different way. I wonder if we even end up going back. Hopefully not. Sorry. I'm wondering.
Hey, if they give Nios its own expansion, I think they could do some fun stuff with it. Not like mid patches, like an actual, it is the expansion and it is the mid patches, and like really dive into the realm of the demons.
It's exciting, actually. Okay.
I just love that we have so many directions we could go. That's exciting to me. We have, we were on the dragons for a long time and that was really fun, but I just like the fact that there are endless possibilities in the world of Tyria, and I don't know, there's just so many things you could do.
Yeah, I think the dragons did really take over they were here so present for so long.
Or like 10 years or something.
I mean, well, it's before
and I loved
that, really.
I loved every second of the dragon cycle.
I was
like,
great.
don't get me wrong, I loved it.
Maybe the end of Icebreed Saga could have been a little unfortunate, but we had to get there. I understand.
Yeah.
It was a sacrifice that had to be made.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely could have been some differences of ways to go for sure, but it was necessary. But like you said, it does really. You got such a huge force. It kind of clouds all of the smaller, I guess, enemies and bosses and factions and stuff. Even though they were present and we were fighting them and they were still part of it, it was always with the dragon in mind. Always with the end boss will be the dragon of this faction, the dragon of this cult, the dragon of this expansion or whatever. And now we've got these smaller stories, which I think it's almost like they're trying to find their own footing in all of this because they've been doing that for so long. It's like, oh, how do we make these stories as impactful as because now they have to lift it up, right? They have to push it up to that dragon level, to that epic, massive being. And they have to do that with an entire cult or an entire group or faction, and they have to have a head of it, and they have to really build upon it. So it feels like these expansions just all might be building towards these kinds of things, and it's challenging. I think it's maybe that's what we've been experiencing and witnessing from Arena Notes. They try to work out and feel out how they do that and achieve it, because that's hard to do. That must be very hard to do.
They're doing it very well. I think the main difference that I feel with these newer expansions is that there's so much more character writing and so many more characters to write. You don't want to fall into the pitfall of, well, they're all the White Mantle, so they will all be characterized the same way. You have to think about each White Mantle person would, as an example, has their own character, has their own method of doing things, has their own relationships within with the characters in the White Mantle. Some of them were more zealous and would sacrifice, like the twins, versus some of the others who were like, oh, we don't like these twins, they're going a little crazy and it's not great, they're literally killing everyone. And so you have so much more detail and so much more responsibility to write each individual character with so much more emphasis and so much more care, compared to like the dragons, where it's like, oh, they're all the minions, they all can have a hive mind, and it's more approachable that way. So I think these expansions are really testing their ability to write multiple characters at the same time and looping them all into a cohesive narrative. And I will say, so far, I am enjoying it. I think they're doing a good job.
I would agree with
that. Go on. Yeah. I mean, there is so much nuance to all of this. Like, we were talking about whether or not they're bad or good, but the people who, like, obviously Sol is one of those people who, you know, understood that they weren't great. They weren't great to follow, but how those people fall into this, I mean, I think that's just a really good exploration into almost cults in a way, and some like heavy, like I was joking about evangelical Christians earlier, but like, you know, at the end of the day, like, I mean, there is an exploration into this, which we've already been doing through like Sol and other people, and you know, there's manipulation that goes on, whether or not it be magic, etc. But also the people that gathered in these places, like we found out the stories of some of those people, like some of them were just like thieves and vagabonds, and like, you know, these people who were just ejected from society, and they found this place, you know, in Janthir, and they kind of settled, and the Masak kind of took advantage of them, it sounds like, to a degree.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And they found people that believed in them, so it was like, you know,
at the end of the day, all you want is for people to believe in you. The Masak just wanted some company, and they were like, please.
We'll also sacrifice your children, but it'll be fine.
Yes.
I promise.
Yes, please. You said you love me.
Yeah. There is a lot.
Don't worry, I promise I'll give you power. I promise.
But that's the
I'll
blog
lead
post.
you to salvation.
Exactly. That's the blog post, though. I'm interested to see what these outskirts of the city look like.
I can't wait for Tuesday. I think.
Well, it's going to be a week Tuesday.
We're going to get a trailer. Huh?
It's a week Tuesday.
A week Tuesday?
Is when it comes out.
Oh, no. The 4th, in terms of, I think we're probably getting the trailer, because they said come back next week for more. I'm just excited to see some, like, maybe in-game footage.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Yeah, I was going to ask about that, because the reason why we had not doing this podcast next week is because I'm at Comic-Con. So otherwise I was going to do it.
Well, we'll loop back when we play it.
Yes, we will. And pardon me, unless I suddenly don't go. And there's some panels on Saturday I want to go to. But hopefully there will be a trailer. There should be, as it's the week before. Thoughts on, so I reposted, sorry, fuck Twitter, I failed with the swearing. I
I think it was your fourth swear.
probably, I don't know. I was whenever I say I'm trying not to swear, it's mostly because of the VOD. But I was just like, what's the point? Who cares anymore?
Just do it.
I reposted and I was like, please add Guild Wars 2. Make some video content about this. Because again, I was like, this stuff would be very cool to be a part of like video content specifically. Reading the blog post has not necessarily changed my mind. I just don't think people engage with blog posts as much as they used to.
No, I think everyone does.
I think as hazard a guess that there would be a tiny morsel of people that would have invested time in reading that blog post compared to the amount of work that was probably done. And that's not to shit on the work that's been done, because the work that was done was clearly very good. We just did a podcast on it, the entire article, and it was very insightful, and it was also very eye-opening and explorative, and it didn't give us all the information, gave us enough to talk about, think about. And someone said, I think it's Dan, who replied, with the intention of other partners kind of doing what we're doing, thinking about what the blog post means and talks about, etc. But that isn't necessarily our job to do. They still have to promote their game on a very basic level.
True.
And in under 2 weeks, they have the next major update, and the only thing people really know is this. I don't know anything else.
Yeah, I
and I
agree
think that's
that
still a problem.
blog posts are not usually the go-to that people are looking for, especially in an age where we love bite-sized 60-second informative content.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it could be cool to have like small video short primers on like who the Mersat are,
Yes,
and what they look like and where they lived with Bavanisos. And at the very end, plug Bavanisos, come back March 11th for the next update for Guild Wars 2. But I will say, to give credit to a blog post, I think if you're going to make a blog post, make it like this. Keep it short, keep it sweet, add some concept art, add some new concept art, have a visual to go with it. So I think this one was well done.
It is definitely not denying that. It is very well done, for sure. I think you're right, though, in terms of the amount of... We keep talking about it. We keep saying it. Like, they have to have something else to go along with it, because they're not... In my opinion, they're just not selling the awesomeness of this game enough. They're still not.
Well, we do have a trailer to look forward to next week. So I think that's where we can gain more of that visual feedback. And I think like a week out is where they kind of really want to do a bit more promotion for a patch. 2 weeks is kind of like for the fans. It's like for the people who are already here, if you want to read up.
Sure.
Maybe.
I mean, you think about it, they've only got... Go on.
How much, though? I mean, I understand where, what we're trying to say. They are still doing advertisements and things like for Janthir Wilds as a whole.
True.
And I'm curious, like, how much could we really do as a mid-patch advertisement for this game without spoiling or not pushing it? Like, because I feel like the push should be to purchase Janthir Wilds, like to buy this expansion that you get.
I can give you a very good example of this.
I would love, because I that would be my concern. Like, is how are we pushing people just to Janthir or to this specific patch?
That's true.
Very true.
Because if you're using resources for a patch, like you're going for the people who already own Janthir Wilds, and something like a blog post and these teasers to me seems very appropriate, just from like a business resource and money spend kind of a thing. Until that patch is already released, and then kind of adding that into, look at these awesome things you can do with Janthir. But that's as far as like, how do you advertise it to me as to get me excited in playing the patch for this expansion? I don't know what they could put necessarily that wouldn't ruin what Janthir
Sure.
Wild
Yeah.
trying to hide.
I've got some easy answers for that, thankfully. So
Great.
World of Warcraft released, obviously, is it War from Within, right, or something, whatever it's called. I've been playing that, and I've been following how they promote their game now for at least 2 months, maybe a month. We know they're going to this place called Undermine, which is a goblin kind of city. I'm not going to say anything else because of the potential spoilers, but they've done enough with it that they're not spoiling it, but they're giving you a lot of information about the map, or, you know, about the kind of mobs that are there, with screenshots or short trailers, or just a word from one of the, you know, NPCs or something like that. There's just this kind of, not bombardment of content. And I know World of Warcraft is a different beast, but it's not like huge stuff that's beyond the reach of like Guild Wars 2. It's like Elder Scrolls Online. They do it as well. They, you know, they chuck out a ton of trailers, you know, of a new dungeon that comes out, of we do get new skins and stuff, but you know, that's very different. That's Gems always got nothing to do with expansions or story most of the time. But I've witnessed how other games do it, and it's like, even New World, with new stuff that's coming out, they'll get a creator onto their Twitter, they'll pay them to do a thing, and then they'll just talk about a faction or a quest line or a fight that's in the new content, etc. And it's not like it spoils it. It's just like an extra selling point to it. And whereas I totally agree with, like, the blog post is something that would definitely be potentially spoilery, but they even say it at the beginning. They talk about the spoiler there as well at the start, which is why they don't put that kind of stuff in video, because you just watch it through and you just be like, blah, blah, blah. But they even say about spoilers in the blog post. They don't have to put hardly any of that information in to get us excited about the new thing. There's a whole new mastery line. They could easily just do a short 60-second video of looking forward to, you know, using this item or whatever in the, you know, in the future. It's like, I'm not sure if that, I don't think that would be spoilery. There's just so many different things you could do, I think, to promote some excitement about the game in a different way that it's going to entice more people in. I think it's just because, and it's not, and it exists. It all exists. I just don't think they use it enough.
With the mid patch, I think strategically you would want to stimulate a lot of the community that is already there and is looking for it. So I would love for them to like utilize the partner program and get people like Peachy, Lara,
all of us,
Bog Otter, but he works there now. But
I mean, he's already doing
what you
it,
mentioned with like Elder Scrolls Online, where you get like these creators to get a little early sneak peek at like a small area. You release the trailer for everyone, and then you kind of slowly each day roll out something new from like a couple people, so that, you know, you get in-game footage maybe of them and like a slight bit of their reaction, and then it stimulates their community who are watching them, who would hopefully then be like, maybe I should check back into Guild Wars 2 and see. So it could be a nice use of the partner program. I think people would be like excited to do it.
And it wouldn't put the onus on them at all.
For free, honestly.
You know? Yeah, I mean, just for like exposure or anything else. And I'm trying not to, I don't want it to sound like, I'm not like trying to crap on arena or anything. I'm very critical of the promotional parts.
Yeah, because I think it's actually very smart. It's a good conversation, because I think with an expansion, they got it down like relatively okay and good to how they build up their hype and how they market. I will agree that, to me, I always found that their mid-patch stuff, even with Living World, often felt really weak. And it was only because I was engaged already to the content and to making content for it that I was like paying attention. But now that I've been stepping away slightly and taking more of a break every once in a while, I am actually realizing how silent this game is.
It is.
In the vast forest of the internet.
It really is.
So maybe utilizing slightly more content creator sneak peeks, like alongside a trailer drop could be useful.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know though. I got my marketing degree from the vending machine. So
no. But well, but the thing is that you're a content creator that's done this for a long time, and you know that if you don't produce content for your brand, that people are going to forget.
Yeah,
you know that because
the
they do.
Algorithm, everything does slow down because the internet's like, oh, you're not doing anything.
Exactly. Then you become we become less in people's lives. It's like you become less of a person that people think about, and it's just it just makes sense. So it's the same with the game. I mean, if you look through all of the posts on guildwars2.com, like if you go to where is it, community and then news, and I was looking at this yesterday because I was trying to find a flipping blog post, not the blog post, but like something else. And I'm like, the sensational March sales. Bumblebee like a busy bee with a new cosmetic backpack. Celebrate Valentine's Day with new items. Prismatic Vision returns to the gem store. The Lunar New Year, that's a good one. Celebrate toasting New Year with the campfire chair. Money. It's all like mostly gem store items.
Yeah.
Like, it's mostly gem store items and an event which has already been around for years and years and years. There isn't really. Like,
Guild Wars 2's website is awful.
Yeah. I mean,
I know it's kind of nostalgic, and if they changed it, I would miss it, but it's not great.
I think I do think honestly, like, the home pages of games are all also mostly always pretty basic. I don't think they're really that good. I think the community sites that people make are a lot better. It's like with World of Warcraft or anything, like Icy Veins or WoW Head, etc. They're all much better places to get your information from, and they're it's basically like, this is the game, go do the thing. I think where is it, releases like Living World, we go to the actual expansion websites, they're definitely got a little bit more character to them, but they're just very much about just the expansion and the features.
Yeah, I like this site a lot more. It just feels like I'm actually kind of stepping foot into Guild Wars 2 more, rather than just like a very white blank web page with a couple tabs to read.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can see my face when we go back to the website, like, what site I'm on. There's Guild Wars 2.
Yeah. Like, oh, where's the dark mode?
It's so blinding. But I'm flogging a dead horse that's also been dead for 17 years at this point by talking about the formation of this game.
Someone get the necromancer.
It is kind of a bit like that sometimes. I was just looking out for MMORPGs as well. I mean, they've not got much of a presence on Blue Sky right now. And I looked at Twitter just to be like, oh yeah, what does the Elder Scrolls do? Oh yeah, actually, they talk about their game a little bit more in different places, and they have videos and random stuff. Like, it's not just about the store, and that's kind of weird coming from Elder Scrolls Online, because they're all about their crown store. Like, they want to sell you all the things. Oh my good lord. But yeah, still a good blog post. Not shitting on the blog post. Blog post is really, 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 really good. But they still have this issue of selling their game that it does worry me, but they're still going. They're still going. I mean, it's gotten better. It's definitely gotten better than, I would say, previous to the yearly expansions. Even though Heart of Thorns was still the best. Still not hit that Heart of Thorns era of advertising, which was just like...
I don't think we ever will.
I don't know. I don't think we will either.
No, I think
so
it
epic.
was just... It was a moment in time where they gave it so much budget, and I don't think we're...
I don't even know if
that's
that was just
anymore.
it though, Groove. I don't know if it was just budget. I think it was like...
it was budget, but it was on top of that, the execution. It was budget, it was the trailers, it was the panels, it was the live streams, it was the community events and conventions. It was It was
I mean, it's
budget,
a lot of
but they
coordination
executed.
and
Yeah,
time and
multiple areas.
resources. Yeah.
True, true. They've still got most of those roles and people there,
I just don't know
I
if
guess.
that.
Maybe.
I don't know if that's Guild Wars 2's mission anymore to really
They do potentially have people
grow beyond.
elsewhere doing the things, but yeah, no, I mean, what do you think it's more to maintain than anything else?
I think a lot people might be somewhat afraid to say this, and I don't know if this is true, but because I have been able to step back for a bit, and I'm more so coming back now that the next patch is releasing sometime soon, it's given me as a long time Guild Wars 2 fan, and still very much so, a moment of reflection to actually like admit that it does feel like it's on it's not a bad thing, but it's maintaining, which is healthy and good. It's maintaining what it needs to release content, to release its expansions yearly. We do have, I think this patch was pushed back a couple weeks, but it's still coming. There are balance patches. I think it's gotten into a very secure rhythm. So nothing is really like blowing me away other than the actual patches when they launch, and I get to see more of that story because that's what I enjoy. But from a community perspective of having Guild Wars 2 stamp itself in the social media scene, it isn't, I think, trying to be that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would be interested to see. I mean, I'm thinking about this from almost a business perspective, because you need to have a good return on investment in whatever you're putting your resources into. And, we see quite a bit about, what's on in the in-game shop and advertising there, and that's where they're putting some of their efforts. I almost wonder if I'm almost assured that they've probably done the research on, is the advertising of the game really pulling in as many people as they want to see?
Sure.
Like adding more investment into that, is that working at this point after 12, 13 years of being in existence, versus spending those resources elsewhere, and in-game store stuff, or writing blog posts and doing what they can in order to get like a maximum ROI. But I guess it's like sort of how I'm thinking about it. If it's not pulling in as many people or retaining people to do like mid expansion advertising or patch advertising to get people excited to come back, then I don't know if that's the best spend.
For sure.
As much as we would love to see it, I would love to see more. Obviously, if you had it like crazy or a good budget for it, like I would love to see it, but
just not sure how much it would, because I get the big ad campaigns and stuff, but not kind of getting creators and other people to just kind of talk about their game. That kind of stuff doesn't feel very impactful on them. I mean, yeah, a couple $100 depending on or more, depending on how much they want to pay people. So it's like,
if at all, I think like sometimes just giving the opportunity to be the first one to break the news or to show something exclusive off, that is in a way a little extra boost in your numbers and stats and your eyes on your stuff. So
kind of saw that with like Willow, the Weeping Willow's like feature of the Warclaw mount before anyone else really got to make content on it. And I think Mukluk also did a video. So I think we're breaking into that maybe, and it could be something we push for. Maybe it's something we suggest more as partners, like, hey, you got a patch coming up, I'd love to make content, let's have a conversation. But they could also pursue too, and we know that it's gone through changes and other stuff, so hopefully I do think that's a good idea.
Awesomeness. I think we are pretty much done for today, other than talking more about this specific thing.
I wonder if we could ever have like a partner summit.
Well, like we all get together in like one place,
like online digitally. I wonder what that would be like if like a bunch of
God.
people got together and talked like about the game and their experience as partners and their experience like with content creation in Guild Wars 2.
I'm not sure that. I'm not going to say what
There's
I'm going
so
to
many
say.
people. I don't. Hey, it probably wouldn't.
A lot of people.
It would be very entertaining.
I think that would be definitely true. I agree with
Yeah.
you that the entertaining
Yeah.
part would definitely be a thing. Yeah, exactly. Okay, we didn't do an outro, so let's do an intro outro.
Yes.
Engelbert Meow. That's what you do where you do it, where people can find your things and stuff and bits and bobs.
All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to. I'm just kidding. I am Engelbert Meow. I stream on Twitch pretty frequently. Guild Wars 2 content. Twitch.tv/Engelbert Meow. I do monthly cursed cosplays of people, places, and things around Tyria. It's pretty random. It's pretty fun, and we do it to raise funds for the Extra Life, which is the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. I'm also on Blue Sky and kind of on TikTok, although I'm kind of retiring myself there recently. But yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and I beetle race and I can read.
You can read. We found that out.
I
Oh
can't
my
read.
gosh. The answer to the question we've all been waiting for.
Is reading real and does it happen?
Can
Reading
you
is
do it?
fundamental. Yeah.
Yes, we can. Anyway,
true.
popcorn group.
Hi guys. I'm Kroof.
Doing the popcorn thing now. Exists.
Thank you so very much for having me here. I am Kroof. I do mostly, I don't know what I do honestly anymore. It's just, I'm here.
You
But
do
you
it when you
can, if you like
can,
to find
and
me
if you can.
elsewhere. You can find me over on my YouTube. I've been making quite a few Marvel Rivals shorts about all of the different heroes. And I recently made a video about this particular blog post. So if you want it in purely audio format, you don't have to read it. You can head over to my YouTube. If you want to catch me live here, I usually stream Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, playing like Marvel Rivals, Baldur's Gate. Sometimes we pop into Guild Wars 2 or any other game that I really want to play for a stream and spend some nice quality time with you all. And thank you for having me once again. It was lovely chatting with you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Amazingly awesome, epic. Thank you so much for being here, Kroof and Engel. I'm Jebro. I stream once a week, maybe on a Saturday, with this podcast or doing something else. It's been Baldur's Gate free playthrough right now, recently. You can find the podcast online. Just Google it. Or do something else. Don't use Google. Use something else. Not even Firefox now. Use something really, really like not crap. Guild Wars 2 podcast, The Lightbringers. We're on Spotify. You can listen to us and watch us on there, on YouTube, on youtube.com/JebroUnity, as well as twitch.tv/JebroUnity on a Saturday. Go and check out the podcast, listen to the things, do the stuff, and we will see you after you've maybe popped yourself into the new update 2. Guild Wars 2, Janthir Wilds, which we're all looking forward to, which is on March the 11th at probably about 9 a.m. Pacific, which is 5 p.m. GMT-ish, depending on if time zones have changed by then. I don't think they have, but we'll see. I can't remember. Anyway, otherwise, it's been awesome to see you all. Thanks so much for watching. Be good to do awesome stuff, and don't forget to wipe when you go to the bathroom.
Oh my god.
Hey. This is a pre-stream conversation we had, so if you don't get that, it wasn't really random comment from me. But
Oh my god.
make sure you do. Alright. And when you also shower, clean other areas, especially to my fellow gendered folks. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Get some therapy.
Okay, that was fun.
Oh, Lord. What an outro.
I mean, you know, I wanted to end it on like on a note where we were talking about the pre-show thing, and then people were just like, you know, what are they talking about? It's okay.
Yeah, what are the conversations behind the
Indeed.
curtain? Like the wizard.
Thanks, chat peeps, as well for joining us. Appreciate you hanging out live. It was a bit quiet today, but it's all good. I normally stream later in the day, so I know Fix is coming out a lot earlier, but I think I'm gonna head out today. I was thinking about maybe streaming more, but I'm kind of not in the mood today. I've got lots to do, and I want to get it done. My brain's thinking about it. But Engel
Busy
and
bee.
Kroof, thank you so much. Yes, a little bit. I want to go work out as well.
Thanks for having
I'm doing
us.
that right after this, and then I'm gonna stream.
Cool. Right, well, are you playing Marvel Rivals?
I haven't decided what I want to do today.
Okay.
It might be. I'm in Diamond 1. I would like to get to Grandmaster.
Wild. I'm in like Gold 2 or 1 at the moment. I'm like, I need more time. I just get in from work. I'm like, I can only play quick match because my brain can't do it.
I believe in you. I believe in you.
We'll see. The World of Warcraft patch just came out. Undermine is wicked.
Look at that.
So good. Anyway, I will see you later, peeps. If you're streaming tonight, I'll come drop by your streams. Everyone drop by their streams tonight if they're playing. See you soon, peeps.
Thank you. Bye, Engel. Bye, Jebro.
Bye, group. Bye, Jebro.
Bye everyone on stream. Thanks so much for watching. You take care. Have a great rest of your day. If you do want to follow the channel, you know what to do. I'd appreciate it massively. Otherwise, see you soon. And have a good rest of your day. Bye for now.